Good evening. We bring you the latest in the world of sports. My name is Boom Gonzalez.
We bring you the conversations you want to hear from your favorite icons and athletes. I'm Denise Tan, and in tonight's Game Plan, we'll break down the semifinals matchup between the San Miguel Beermen and Meralco Bolts in the 2022 PBA Philippine Cup.
And we'll share some courtside stories of the semis-bound teams and superstars in the 2022 PVL Invitational Conference. And we'll catch up with PBA Commissioner Willie Marshall as he shares the latest on the PBA's plans with the SPP as well as the Philippine Cup semis. So buckle up, sports fans. Let's get in the game. Hello and good evening. There's just one day left before the PBA semifinals goes underway. And after a stunning victory over Ginebra, the Meralco Bolts will go up against San Miguel powerhouse. And joining us today to talk more about that matchup is PBA analyst Coach Mon Jose. Coach, how are you?
Good, doing good.
Hi, Coach. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much for taking time being here. I know you're busy, but let's get to the matchup right away. I know you picked some individual matchups. Let's start with that. You were talking and you prepared for us some stuff. CJ Perez versus Chris Newsom. Why is this interesting?
Yeah, well, that's an exciting matchup there. As we know, si Chris, he's the leader of Meralco, and he can take over the game anytime. And the same with CJ. So aside from Junmar, parang siya na yung next talaga eh. So that those two guys are going to be crucial in the series.
CJ's averaging 17.4 points, 7.6 rebounds, and almost 6 assists, while Chris Newsom's averages is almost 17 points, 5.6 rebounds, and almost 5 assists. And coming off a triple-double, di ba?
Yes.
Denise, tama? Bigat pati nung pasa na yun, the last one.
Yes, giving it to Raymond Almazan for that big three. But another matchup that you gave us, Coach Mon, is Jericho Cruz against Alain Maliksi. And we know these two players, once they get started, tuloy-tuloy na yan, could carry their respective teams as well. How do you think they will fare at yung matchup nila? Anong kakalabasan?
Yeah, well, yun, if Chris and CJ cancel out, so crucial yung si Jericho and si Alain. And Jericho's been playing well. You know, he may start or coming off the bench. He's been consistent. So crucial talaga yung the extra scoring for San Miguel. Because for sure they'll have schemes on Junmar. They'll probably do the same thing with CJ. So I feel si Jericho will be that next man up for San Miguel. And the same goes with Meralco, si Alain. You know that once he gets going, it's hard to stop him. So he'll be crucial in the series as well.
All right, you mentioned CJ, you mentioned Chris, and then of course Jericho and Alain. Is there a name here, a player here that might be an X factor? Maybe a couple of names actually, not just one. That might be an X factor, might get overlooked in this series, but will play big.
For San Miguel,
yes, let's go for San Miguel first.
I think it can be Brondial.
Okay, tell me why, Coach.
And he does the dirty work. So he has to be able to match up the energy of Cliff Hodge. So parang siya yung magiging Hodge ng San Miguel. And I think that's going to be a big factor all throughout the series. If Rodney can contribute in different ways, not in many ways, defense, offense, rebounds, depensa.
Right.
So, yeah.
So Meralco naman.
Meralco, I like Bong Quinto.
Okay, why, Coach?
He can just match up with anyone. So if they have a problem with, any of the San Miguel guards, si Bong can match up with, Chris Ross, with Jericho, with. And I just like his toughness, so that's what he brings to the table.
I want to go back though to Cliff Hodge because he was playing in a whole nother level, especially in this series. Last game, I believe 18 rebounds. So game before that, game 2, 26 points, his highest scoring output in 6 conferences. So what he brings to the table, I know you mentioned Grundial to counter that for Cliff. Pero ano pa ba yung pwedeng dalhin ni Cliff for Meralco?
Well, yeah, he's actually sobrang laking bonus na yung points niya because he does a lot of intangibles. So I guess just to be consistent all throughout the series. Yeah, it's about the San Miguel firepower and the grit of Meralco, and they've been doing that. Not just sa quarters, but pati sa eliminations. Their tough defense. They really love to grind yung Meralco team. So that's going to be one way to stop San Miguel's for them to just continue grinding.
Right. What's your take on the coaching matchup? That's what I want to know from you also. Tell us, like, what's your opinion on it?
Well, actually, I'm very happy for Coach Luigi, good friend of mine. So
obviously, yes.
He's doing a good job.
Excuse me.
For Coach Norman. But again, I mean, the system has been, it's been set already. So they're just running what they've been running. Pero it's about Coach Leo's experience. We know that they've dominated the Philippine Cup for so many years. So, the experience and I guess the energy and the excitement of Coach Luigi, yung magiging dyan. He's doing a good job with his players, encouraging his players while Coach Norman's not here.
Now, speaking of Coach Luigi, we had him here last night as well. And he was saying the first time that San Miguel went up against Meralco, there was no Coach Leo, there was no Jericho Cruz.
Apat nga tayo.
Yeah, there are a lot of missing players,
yeah,
and
right.
Coach Leo wasn't there as well. Now, when we talk about this matchup, not just by the players, but the coaching staff as well, how do you think, how big will everything change now that Coach Leo is back and San Miguel is also a complete roster?
Yeah, yun nga, yung firepower ng San Miguel, they're so tough now, especially now that they're complete. So, well, of course, the experience of Coach Leo, pero nandyan na rin yung sistema nila. It's been in place. Their players are very, they're very smart. They know what to do already. They're very, a lot of veterans yung San Miguel team. So, yeah.
Maybe Coach Luigi was also downplaying himself. You know what I mean? Why he was saying that. But you were referring to that last game, which was, I think, a 3-point win,
Yes.
diba? By Meralco over San Miguel. Well, it's going to be a great series.
Yeah.
We hope we get a full series, a full 7. Why not, right? But thank you very much for coming over, Coach. And we'll talk to you more about the other stuff, the other side of things in the PBA. But thanks for coming tonight.
Thank you for having
Thanks,
me.
Coach.
Thank you very much. After the break, we'll discover some insider stories from the heart of volleyball. Stay tuned. You're watching The Game. Welcome back to the game. The top 4 teams in the 2022 PVL Invitational Conference are back to square one for the first week of the semifinals, which actually started earlier today. Now, after giving you a preview last night, we'll uncover more courtside stories from PVL insider Sam Corrales, who's with us here on the game. Unfortunately, Army went down today for them against PLDT. But let's start with them, and let's start with their heart and soul. Jove Gonzaga, you wanted to talk about her, and Mitch Morente, right?
Yes, of course. These two stars have been having their experiences in the beach volleyball scene, and now they're here in the indoor scene together. And this is a team that has grown so much, especially since the Open Conference, because they were at the bottom of the standings, and now they're joining the top teams in the league for the semis, right? So what has changed since then? Of course, the Bionic Ilongga, Jove Gonzaga. How can you not talk about her, recognize her efforts? Of course, on the technicalities of it, parang libero, diba? A lot of people are saying
number 1 in digging and receiving.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right.
So that's
number 3, sorry, in digging and receiving this conference.
So that just goes to show, the impact that she has. And one thing that the players notice talaga is her leadership on the court. And I'm sure, Boom, you cover games, you see how she's always the first one to huddle her team when they're down or pag may errors and everything like that. But I also wanted to talk about the bench. Kasi for them, it's a team full of veterans. You have Joan Bunag, Royce Tubino rising up to the occasion the past few games, right? And they're like, okay, kung si Ate Jove, during the game, siya yung nagde-lead, kami naman sa bench, diba? So it's really a total team effort, and sabi nga nila, yung chemistry nila from the Army team, yung sa barracks and all of that, they all have the same routine, they wake up at the same time. It's all a matter of showing it on the court, and that's what we're seeing so far with this team. And as for Mitch Morente naman, talking about her sacrifices before stepping into the court for the season, she has been on a fast for almost 2 months, staying away from sweets. That is tough for us. Not
sorry,
in the
my mic
pros,
was on.
right? Right, and she also hired an additional SNC coach just to prepare for the season. So.
Iba na talaga pag professional na eh.
Yeah,
no, Denise?
nutrition really plays a big part of it, and everything that goes behind the scene. Now, speaking of which, I know you also wanted to talk about Gemma Galanza. We've been seeing powerful attacks, very consistent ones as well para sa kanya. Pero yun nga, just going back, when you see Gemma hit, parang dala yung buong barangay, as we say it,
Crazy,
diba?
crazy, yes.
What's the reason behind that, at ano yung secret ngayon ni Gemma?
So of course, we see her hits coming from the back, really like stunning all of the opponents. But really for Gemma, it's the recovery. I got to speak to her. I was like, paano ba? Sobrang powerful na attacks mo. Like, even if it's a 3-set victory or 5 sets, the quality is still there. And she said that, she goes to bed at 7 p.m.
What? So she doesn't watch the show? I don't like her anymore.
Sabihin mo i-adjust, 7:30.
7:30 naman, sabihin mo naman.
I'm not sure about our viewers, but, maybe now you're having dinner, diba? Sometimes my PVL game pa pag 5 sets. But, that's her dedication. I was like, legit ba na 7 p.m.? Sabi niya, well, she tries to wind down, stay away from her devices. We know that she's very active on her phone, diba? So these are some things that she does before game day, or just to stay ready for their trainings, which usually start at like 5 or 6 in the morning. So getting 8 hours of sleep is optimal.
Kaya naman pala, 5 or 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay, di na kami aangal dyan. But yeah, she's been tremendous. She's an MVP. She's on a team with MVPs.
Right.
And even in our conversations here in the game, I remember from last conference, pag sila nagbibiroan, sinasabi nila, siya talaga yung pinakamalakas even in practice. Na, even Tots says that about her. So, 7 p.m.
Yes,
Denise.
it's the key. Sweet
Yan
spot.
tayo, ha?
That's right.
Okay.
Wait, Boom, you mentioned Tots. Also an MVP.
Of course.
And, we're talking about pre-game routines and how they prepare. Tots naman, what's interesting about her is that I always see her with her coffee. So, it's something that, she does, like
Boost niya,
before
boost.
a game, always having coffee and watching her highlights. So,
Wow.
maybe not everyone would do that, but
Yeah.
I catch her on her phone, just, watching. And I was like, why do you always watch your highlights before a game? And for her, she says, parang feeling ko I could have improved
Done
my
better.
form, my attack, and everything like that. So
Well,
it's the detail.
She has a lot of highlights, that's for sure. So marami siyang mapapanood. I love the story about Signal last game. when they didn't have a lot of the players. And Maris Layo gumabol. And she was planning really to go to the game after her graduation. Fill us in on this one.
Well, that was really clutch. So coming into the game, Coach Shaq was already, I'm telling my players to please pray and prepare. Kasi some became liberos, some Riri Meneses, diba? A blocker, she was trying like a back row attack. And natawa na lang siya when she did that. But yeah, Coach Shaq just wanted to give experience to the players, especially since others are nursing injuries, like Ces Molina, and others out due to safety protocols. But for Maris Layug, it was a rainy weekend, but she made it on time. I think second or third set humabol siya. And she's taking up a degree in UP, in HRIM. I was like, how do you do it? Not only as a student athlete, but as a pro student athlete. So sabi niya, 2 hours, dedicates her time to study, goes to training, eat, recover, sleep, and then study again. That was her life the past few months.
And it's
Pareho kami, wala lang akong study part.
No, but it's really about time management, diba? And finding that support within your system, within your team who had to step up. But speaking of support system, let's talk about Jules Samoante because she's also one player who's been so consistent, so effective for their team. Saan niya ba kinukuha yung supportang yun?
Great conference for her to
Of course, yeah. She's been absolutely phenomenal. With Jules, she gets inspiration and she feels the energy from the people talaga around her. So of course, talking about her teammates, her family, and her friends. And for Jules, she was just telling me that she missed volleyball so much. I mean, after being away from the game because of the pandemic, she's just pouring everything on the court right now, and it shows with her stats, and she's really just making the most out of everything on the floor. And with PLDT, you sense their chemistry.
Yeah.
It
More
pays
than any
off
other
in their
time,
game. And I want to talk about Del Palomata also, a blocker, and for her, parang naha-hype siya din eh. It's all about energy when her teammates are like, monster block, like from the sidelines and everything. So yeah, with PLDT, the energy is real, and yeah, let's hope
that's
that
why they won their semifinal match earlier
Against
today.
Army,
that
right.
that was a big one. And belated happy birthday also to Jules Samoante. And
Yes.
thank you, Sam Corrales, as
Thank you,
always,
guys.
Thanks,
for coming
Sam.
over to the game. All right, in the meantime, after the break, PBA Commissioner Willie Marshall joins us to talk about plans for the upcoming 2023 FIBA World Cup, as well, of course, as the PBA Philippine Cup semifinals. Stay tuned. You're watching The Game.
Welcome back to The Game. The SBP's preparation for the upcoming 2023 FIBA Basketball World Cup continues to gain momentum. In a meeting led by SBP Chairman Senator Sonny Angara, President Al Panlilio laid out the plans for the country's staging of the event to different board members from the PBA, UAP, NCAA, and other major basketball organizations. All stakeholders expressed their commitment to support the Gilas Pilipinas program in putting together the best team for the FIBA Basketball World Cup 2023. And joining us tonight to talk about this development as well as the ongoing Philippine Cup semis is the hardworking Commissioner Wally Marshall. Hello, good evening and welcome to The
Hardworking
Game.
talaga.
Oo.
Magandang gabi sa inyo. At first time ko yata, hindi, ang tagal naman. Nung kayo host. Nung kayo.
Oo, pero tsaka
Zoom.
nag-zoom ka na. Okay, sige. Denise.
Okay, as we all know, it is an ongoing semifinals, pero next season, inaabangan din natin yan because the PBA is only going to be having 2 conferences, of course, to help support the program, the training schedule of our national team, just to help build chemistry and familiarity as well. Can you maybe talk more about that and what we're planning in the next year?
Tama, nag-board meeting kami last week. Kasi last year pa, pinaplano pa ng ating chairman, si Chairman Ricky Vargas, na magdire-diretso yung plano kung paano matutulungan ang SBP. So naisip ng board na mag-2 conferences na lang, alisin yung isang conference para mabigyan ng panahon para makapag-practice ang Gilas. All-out support sa mga players, kung sinong gusto ni Coach Chot, kung sinong gustong coaches, kahit ball boys, bibigyan natin. Yun ang sinasabi ng PBA na suportahan kahit anong gusto ng SBP.
So, from the PBA standpoint, the fans obviously, they love the PBA. How will we compromise the fact na, dalawang conference na lang, pero malaking paghahanda ang gagawin natin para dito because this is like the biggest tournament that we've had since, the 70s here in the Philippines. Tama ba ako?
Tama. Ito nakikita kong pinakamalaking event ng Philippine basketball sa kaysaysayan ng Philippine basketball. Kasi noong 1978, 14 teams lang yon at two venues, Rizal and Araneta. Ito, 32 nations.
That's right.
Three countries, Japan, Indonesia, Pilipinas, MOA, Philippine Arena, at Araneta. So ganun kalaki nito at magpapasalamat din kami kay Boss MVP na hinost niya to. Malaking bagay ito. Sasagutin mo 32 countries. Sasagutin mo for 15 days. Sasagutin mo buses. Sagutin mo yung hotel, pagkain.
Right.
So malaking bagay ito. Ito binibigay ni Boss MVP para sa atin, para sa bansa natin.
Okay, maybe we can talk about as well what's happening right now. Alam natin sa PBA semifinals na, mag-uumpisa na yan tomorrow. And the top 4 teams, sa tingin mo, you've been so familiar with these teams as well. What makes the games tomorrow so exciting at kaabang-abang for the fans?
One, yung disiplina at dedikasyon ng mga players. At yung, lahat hinahabol yung bola, halos magsusuntukan, inaaway ang mga referees ko. So, nandun na lahat eh. Ano pang gusto mong putahe? Nandun na lahat. So, ibibigay natin sa mga fans kung anong dapat. At hindi, malaking bagay yung mga players. Talagang nagpapakondisyon. At yun nga, sana wag nila awayin yung referees ko.
Well, from a matchup standpoint, anong exciting para sa'yo as a fan? Dahil ikaw one of the biggest PBA fans. But without getting too technical, but what excites you about the matchups? Kasi,
Tama. Sa apat na yon, kahit mag-rumble silang apat, pantay-pantay yon.
That's true.
Kahit mag-talk and text, Meralco, mag-San Miguel, kahit sino, parehas yun. Sa akin yun ang sa akin, di ako nambobola. Pero sa tingin ko, magandang labanan yung kahit sino. So, sa akin, pantay yun, talagang breaks of the game. Yun na lang sa akin, tawag ng referee na naman. Pero hindi, ayusin namin.
mukhang matagal pang matutulog si Com. You're going to be awake for a few more weeks to handle some things in the semifinals. But of course, good luck sa matchup. Yung mga fans are so excited for that matchup. And we're gonna be talking more about that here on The Game. Thank you, Koma, for coming by.
Maraming salamat sa inyo.
Thank you, Com. Always nice having you here.
Yes, as always.
And to everybody watching, thank you for joining us. I'm Denise Tan.
And catch us weeknights here on One News, One Sports, and One Sports Plus. I'm Boom Gonzalez, and this has been The Game.